recently discovered a term called masking, and it's supposed to be something people on the spectrum participate in, where you sort of learn how to behave based on what others do that is socially popular or, normal. And I think it can start very from a young age, I presume, is the science and research behind it. Growing up, I learned how to behave much through television, because I wasn't really taught how to socialize. I watched other adults, but let's just say they didn't act right. So there's something I've been reading about masking in females, how they outperform their male counterparts on this masking scale. Apparently we do it better, or something like this. I'm not a doctor, I don't talk to many doctors, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the thing? I'm learning about this, about myself. I mean, I've always had suspicions, but going to meetings has humbled me enough to begin communicating things to myself, of myself, and with others. I mean, I could give you an example of recently that I thought maybe this is what I was doing. I went to my best friend and I told her, listen, I went out with this new mother that I met on the playground, trying to make friends on the playground. It's like a fucking jungle. So her son is in daycare, my son's 7, he's also in that daycare program, and I was trying to make a new friend. So I told my best friend, I was watching myself, feeling myself, talking to myself about watching myself. What does that mean? So I was with this woman, and the whole time, I could hear myself going, why are you acting like this woman right now and not being yourself? And I just, she was the type, a different type than me. She had like a pickle up her butt kind of energy, like, I don't know, hide in the corner kind of energy. And when I'm faced with that energy now, I shut down. And previously I would not necessarily shut down, but mask. So I'm like, why are you acting like her, not you? And so I went to my best friend. I was like, that's so fucked up. I can recognize myself doing this now, as opposed to not even having any awareness of it in prior years. So I'm an alcoholic, and what qualifies me for life? Well, a lot of things. You start talking about yourself a lot when you go to meetings, and it's very hard for me to get things out of from my thoughts to my throat to my voice to out here, because when your voice is lost so very young, it's hard to get it back. Well, how do did you lose it? That's another story. And I'm grateful, I guess maybe that's why I'm making this, to the meetings, because they've helped me find a purpose in finding a voice. It never mattered before because I had the bottle, and that was my solution to losing my voice. I'm sorry, you're not gonna find it at the bottom of that bottle or that can or whatever it was. You just won't. And I'm grateful for that, for the chance to speak my speak and speak my story, because there's so much more to it, and it takes the thought processing and the verbal practicing to share it. And I know now that it's important because hearing other people's stories has helped me. And part of the program is helping yourself to help others. And growing up, I was always inside I always felt other, not same. And there's probably a million reasons for that. One of them I'm learning now is I grew up around a bunch of unconscious people. People who didn't love themselves, didn't know themselves. I didn't learn how to love, what that means, to tap into like a collective love. When you feel it, and you can't unfeel it. But then you know what you saw in people I would see people growing up, and I would look at some people, not a lot, but there were ones, and I would go, what do they know? What do they have? Like, I knew I didn't have it. And now I know what that is. And I don't think you can unlearn it now once you've unlearned your past and started relearning your future. You can't really go back. The last video I made about this was tapping on the car window while I was driving, so I tried to re-say everything because it was all important. But at the end, I couldn't figure out how to say goodbye because this masking thing, everything you've been speaking, sure, you speak when you're drinking, you speak, but it's filtered, for me, looks like what was filtered through this masking funnel, this vocabulary that wasn't my own. And so I was like, so how do you close a conversation like of this nature without saying what you think people want you to say? So I came up with, I was like thinking top of the morning to you because it's Saturday morning, and I said that doesn't really apply to this, does it? No. And then I came up blessed. Yeah, but then that's like, are you talking about yourself or are you talking about everybody? Like blessed be, that makes more sense. And I was like, yeah, I think that's my new sign-off on paper and in spoken word. Blessed be. That's it for me.